Network FOB Network News. This is Shelley Sanderson with you. And today in the Network News, we are going to be introducing the Corporate Intermodal Development Department. And in the department, who we have on the phone with us today is Lisa Heine. And Lisa Heine is in the Corporate Intermodal Development Department. Lisa, welcome.
Thank you, Shelley. It's good to be here.
Excellent. You know what, I think that from our conversations prior to today, I know that you have a lot of great information for our agents. And I know for me, I've been kind of like trying to stump Lisa with some questions and hopefully, you know, keep you on your toes. And so I had a few questions, and my first one is, should I give you my freight to handle?
Well, it's not required, but I can take that for you and provide the door-to-door service and the tracking and the billing, whatever we can arrange between one another. We can handle it to whatever level you would like us to. Or we can give you the training that you need in your office to handle it there directly.
All right. So if I give it to you, how will I know where my shipment is, and how will I know when it will deliver?
Well, we'll put together a tracing report, which will show you our pickup plan or appointment, and then once we've picked up the freight, we'll show you a current location, the ETA to delivery. We will then assign a delivery appointment and put that on the tracking report, and this will come across to you daily, so you'll see those updates regularly, and then you can communicate that or simply forward it to your customer.
All right. Well, how long is pricing good for?
Well, that really depends. We've got volume quotes that we can put in place with CSX and Norfolk Southern, the shorter haul rails. If you have 250 loads annually, we can secure pricing for a year. And with the Union Pacific, it's a 500 load annual count. Now, that is not specific to one lane, but more overall volume. So you can have several different lanes that we can put in pricing for a year, and then have that good for that year and continue to move it in the lanes that we've given the railroads. And now, if we're covering just a spot, it's usually good about 7 days, and sometimes it might fluctuate. So we have a program that we'll look at and say, here's, if you ship it on a Tuesday, here's the rate. If you ship it on a Friday, the rate might be a little higher, or it could even be a little lower depending on the time of year. But once we get that greater volume established with Network FOB as a whole, we can actually put in some specific spot pricing for ramp to ramp or just origin to destination lane pairs, and then we can keep that for a longer period of time. And that's what we really want to capture in our intermodal, and we want to develop those intermodal opportunities. So we can go to the railroads and say, hey, look, here's what Network FOB has as a whole. And we want to be able to give them something to really look at us with.
Awesome. Well, then what about capacity challenges?
Well, that's going to be a challenge for everybody across the board. With the hours of service, we've noticed that intermodal carriers are having some challenges securing dray drivers, as well as over the road. We're meeting with the same challenges. We've got some opportunities, however, through Capacity Connection and through Hyundai to try and secure some of their equipment, which will help us with some of those capacity needs. And as well, we have partners with drayage companies around the country that can assist us in reloading equipment. And that's really the key. If we can match up what our overall volume is within our company and amongst our agents, we can capture what one agent is sending inbound into a location and then reload that equipment and send it outbound for another agent. So that's really how we fight against some of these capacity issues. And again, going back to the volume, as we build that, we can show the people that we're a serious partner with them and have a little bit more a draw for them. And the biggest thing is we want to try and capture equipment so we can reload it, and that'll help us quite a bit.
That's true. Well, my last question in this Stump Lisa minute, but is what about transit compared to truck and savings?
Well, I'll tell you, just for example, if you have a customer moving Chicago to Los Angeles, it's typically a 4-day transit on the railroad versus 3 days over the road. But the savings is about $105,000 a year. Now, in another market, Chicago to Dallas, say, it's about a savings of $25,000 annually, and the transit is 2 days versus 1. Now, we do have cutoff times with the railroad, which we would have to manipulate in terms of we need to be able to talk to our customers and say, well, we want to load before, 2 o'clock so we can be back to the railroad by 5, and that's that cutoff time. So part of the expertise or experience that I bring to this program is that I know we need to work with our draymen and schedule our appointments in such a way that we can meet those cutoff times and get our freight back to the railroad in time to meet that same day train. That'll help us then making those transit times. And as well, we want to work with our destination carriers so that we can tell them and our customers and say, hey, we might want a 1 o'clock appointment versus a 9 o'clock appointment, so we have that time to get it off the railroad and, again, still meet that delivery requirement for the customer.
Excellent. Well, I know that you have a lot more information to share, and I thank you for answering my questions. So I'm going to let you turn it over and finish the rest of your presentation. I know you have a PowerPoint to go with it, and thank you so much again for sharing this information with us.
Well, thank you for the time, and hello, agent family. Some of the things that I've put together are about our intermodal development. Just to recap, again, we want to be able to funnel our volume into some of our specific partners so that we can really capture what we are doing throughout our company and then be able to parlay that volume with the railroads and with our partners as we build upon this program. We want to go over our capabilities, the intermodal markets, where they are, what's in it for you as the agent, our opportunities, and then we will close this up. First of all, with capturing railroad opportunities for network FOB, again, I can't stress about building up that volume enough. We want to be able to tell our customers, hey, we are able to provide you with import-export services, with over-the-road services, and also with railroad opportunities. We can provide that service for you. We can provide door-to-door, and we can be competitive. That way, hopefully, the agent is getting that single call all of the time because we're providing every opportunity of transportation for them. We want to, as I mentioned earlier, funnel our opportunities into specific partnerships so that we can reduce our exposure, and we want to limit our use of 20 different providers. We want to be able to take that down to just a select few so that we can build on those true partnerships and as well just, again, reduce our exposure to other folks that are in the market, to our competitors. Hopefully, once we do all of these things, we can build up enough volume and sign some direct contracts with the railroads. We can then offer more efficient and direct services as well as provide more competitive pricing. We've got a program for you as the agent family designed to work in 2 different ways. As I mentioned earlier, we can come out to your offices or do a webinar and be able to train your staff so that you can operate the intermodal service directly from your office. And then I can just act as an intermediary with our railroad partners and the agents in assisting you to get the pricing that you need. I can also help you with some of the service aspects of the intermodal wherever you might need if you have some particular challenges. Second, our office can accept your intermodal shipments for you and provide the complete door-to-door service, again offering you the tracking and tracing, even the billing if that's what you require. Now, capacity it's an issue everywhere, and intermodal is not much different. I mean, we do have some advantages in being able to capture and reload equipment. We do know that both the CSX and BNSF have been adding locomotives to achieve greater service and equipment turnaround. And the other thing they're doing is working with small short-haul locations right outside major cities such as Chicago, Philadelphia, in the southeast even, to try and actually improve their train speeds. We know that the UP has been doing quite a bit of that. That's their main focus. They are also expanding facilities to increase train speeds. They're actually taking them out of the main city areas so that they can get equipment in quicker and that they can get them off and on the ground. Now, part of the problem is a lot of folks still today have a mindset that the railroad it's too long, it's too complicated. We need to change that mindset. It truly can be truck-like service, but it's more cost-effective. And we do have greater capacity and reliability. We know when those trains are going to run. We know what time the cutoff is. We know what time the grounding is going to be. So we can hit those windows within probably 2 to 3 hours. For the services, Intermodal, it's a great option for over-the-road shippers. Again, it's just changing that mindset. And there are a lot of lanes that are very competitive to transit and price too. One of the main things that we would like to do with the CSX and the Norfolk Southern is shift to short haul. So that would be from the Midwest, like Chicago, St. Louis, those points, to the East Coast, and again up and down the eastern seaboard. Those are great opportunities. And I'll go into those in more depth in a moment. And I do know that CSX and Norfolk Southern, they're really looking for that business. Norfolk Southern is a bit more hungry in those because they know that there's a huge potential for growth. They really want to see that short haul business grow, and it's very competitive with the trucks for over-the-road service, and the shippers aren't missing out on a lot. You can give them a greater price incentive as well as, again, capacity. And there's some good strengths there, which I'll go over. In that intermodal short haul service, we want to keep the freight moving. The shippers do as well as we. And part of that is that we can offer them a drop and hook scenario where you're not fighting for the driver on a long haul. You're not waiting for somebody to come into town and drop a load so that he can get over to your customer and load out. This is local equipment. We can take over to the customer's shipping point or unloading point, drop it, and have it for them at their convenience to unload or load. There's 24 hours or more in advance notice of pickup time. So we can offer them all kinds of benefits in that way. We also can allow for a weekend pickup or delivery. The other big benefit that I see is the midweek pickup and deliver of rail shipments, avoiding Monday and Friday congestion, and we all know that we run into that. We reduce driver delay by doing this. The drivers get in and out of these locations much faster, and everybody's happy. Finally, the different services that we offer here are we have opportunities to offer reefer intermodal. Small boxes, this is a good opportunity for us here. You know, 53s, bigger's not always better. There's often times where we can load the 20s, 40s, and 45s at less cost. Now, you might add a container to what, you know, if you have a large shipment that, say, the customer is planning on moving 10 53s. Well, we might end up moving 11 40s or 10 40s and 120, but at a much lower cost. We can offer them great savings there. There's also a new product in the market called the Big Red Liquid Ride. This is a great opportunity for those of you who ship liquid in 20-foot tank containers. We can load a bag into a container, a box, and then load it with the liquid in there. And we'll block and brace it and send it out all over the country. Now what that does is it reduces any deadhead time for relocation of equipment, because 20-foot tank containers, I know, are somewhat challenging to get to the locations where you're loading that liquid. Now, it's not good for necessarily hazardous equipment, but they do have wind packs that'll work for. And we do line the containers so that there's no risk of tearing or puncturing. Here's a slide showing the basic railroads that we have in operation today, primarily in the United States. We do offer services with the Canadian railroads. You'll see some of that Canadian National there in red. They did purchase a short line that runs Chicago to New Orleans. So we can offer that service as well with them. And then into Canada, we also work with the Canadian Pacific. But it just gives you an idea of where the railroads run. And I can give you more detail on that if you would like. Finally, I would love to hear from you. I'd love to help you in any way that I can. You can call me. I am in Denver. And my hours are 7 to 4. If you want to reach out to me, I'm at 720-528-8600. Or, of course, just send me an email, and I'll respond to you as quickly as I can. Lisa.Heine@networkfob.com. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lisa, and I appreciate you taking the time to share this information with us, and I thank you for sharing such great information that I know that our agents are going to want to take advantage of and to start to map out their 2015 road plans as to how they're going to just do that, make more common sense for their customers, and get the shipments there in a different way that will help them meet those needs. And thank you, agents, also for ending this 2014 year, and as we venture into 2015, may we all be prepared to set some new goals for ourselves, and I hope that you enjoy the holidays with your families and friends. And thank you so much for being a part of this, and we just thank you for participating today.